Hello Trophy Hunters, Tanya here and welcome back to the channel. So if you saw my last Platinum Experience video, you'll have seen that after 6 years I finally got the Platinum in Vice City. That was in the PS2 to PS4 port of the game, so that was basically the original 2002 version, just with trophy support. And since then I have actually gone one step further and I have also Platinumed Vice City in the Definitive Edition on the PS4 version. To be honest with you, I'll also probably go one step further again and get it on the PS5 version, but, I just need a bit of a break from Vice City now. Like, I have, lived, slept, breathed, eaten Vice City for the past, 2 weeks now. So I need another game in my life. But in that video, I did also mention that I could talk about the retro GTA games from now until the end of time, and that's what I want to do today. So rather than make another Platinum Experience video on Vice City the Definitive Edition, because if I'm honest, it is basically the exact same, there are a few quality of life differences in the Definitive Edition, and you can spin the camera, there's mission checkpoints, the graphics are upgraded, and it's a lot smoother and a lot more like playing a modern game, but with the old school fun. Also, the Take the Cannoli trophy, way easier in the Definitive Edition. So, if that's what's been holding you back from Vice City, don't let it do it anymore, because, the Platinum I think is a lot more attainable, and I say the completion rate kind of speaks for that, because I think over 20% have the Definitive Edition version in comparison to the 11 that had the original. But yeah, I wanted to talk about Vice City, but not do a Platinum Experience. So today I decided to share with you what I feel are the 5 worst missions in Vice City. Disclaimer! This is not an objective list. This is purely my choices of the 5 missions I hated. Also, the missions in the Definitive Edition, due to all these quality of life changes, are nowhere near as frustrating as in the original version. So when I had this idea, it was when I was still playing the original version of the game, but I got the footage from the Definitive Edition when I went back and played them. So I didn't struggle as much in the Definitive Edition, but I mean the missions themselves are still horrible. So I hope you enjoy. This list is in no particular order, so we'll just jump right in with Demolition Man. This mission is for Avery, an unscrupulous property developer who tasks Tommy with doing some pretty dastardly things in order to lower prices or get land. Demolition Man is particularly annoying though, as it has you planting bombs in a building site using the RC plane. Now, flying in Vice City isn't the best to begin with, but controlling the RC plane is even more of a nightmare. You have to navigate your way through 4 floors of this building site to plant the bombs in the specific areas, all the while angry workers are attacking your plane. You can either choose to ignore them and risk your plane, or you can choose to kill them and again risk your plane. And just to make things even more frustrating, you're timed. All in all, a pretty rubbish mission to face not long after you start the game. Next on the list is Phnom Penh 86. This mission is given to Tommy by Diaz, and is the mission which unlocks the other half of the map. Now Diaz is the worst. He's the worst. He's got little man syndrome if ever I've seen it. But he has been defrauded by some gangsters and sends Tommy and Lance out to take care of business. The start of the mission has Lance flying a helicopter over to Prawn Island, where he does a couple of flybys of this massive compound that's inhabited by the gangsters, and Tommy is tasked with taking out as many as he can. Now, as many as you can actually translates to taking them all out. The shooting controls in the back of the helicopter aren't the best, and I guess your helicopter is made of paper or something, because after what feels like a couple of rogue bullets, you crash and burn and fail the mission. So, on the off chance you do manage to take out all the gangsters shooting at you from the roofs and behind walls and in the pool and in the tennis court, Lance then lands the helicopter and sets Tommy loose on foot to clear the rest of the place out. Now, shooting in buildings in the original Vice City is nothing short of horrific. The way you control the camera and the way that Tommy moves, it just, being in a confined space doesn't lend well to this. Not to mention the auto aim in that game is ridiculous. So this section can be just as frustrating, if not more frustrating, as the first. But hey, at least you unlock the rest of the map, right? In third place, we have Copland. Now, this is my personal least favourite mission in the game, and this is definitely the one that took me the most time to pass, which I think is a shame because I would argue that the dialogue and the cutscenes in this mission are probably the most iconic in the game, and I feel like they have some of the most quotable lines.
Tie him up and gag him.
Ooh, fits perfect.
Bit tight around the crotch, though.
Oh yeah, mine too.
But, you know, it is what it is. So Lance and the gang back at Vercetti Estates had organised a bomb to be detonated in the North Point Mall, but something went wrong with the timers and now the police are crawling all over the spot. Now Tommy Vercetti doesn't just cut and run. So rather than accept defeat, he and Lance decided to lure a couple of police officers into a lockup to steal their clothes and then impersonate the officers to gain access into the mall. So the first part of the mission is you getting the officers' clothes, which, you know, it sounds easy enough. You get a wanted level, you get the officers into the lockup, you get their clothes and you go. But you have to hit that sweet spot of getting enough wanted attention to lure the police officers in, but not too much that they all swarm you and then park their cars right in the door mechanism of the lockup so it doesn't shut. Because the last thing you want is to be arrested at this point in the mission or lose too much of your armor and health to their bullets, which, you know, if you're trying to lure them in, it's so easy to accidentally get busted or killed. And, you know, that in itself is very frustrating. But then you eventually do this, you pull off the unthinkable and you take over these police officers. You get to the mall, you go inside, you detonate this bomb, which, you know, surprise, surprise, it gives you a massive wanted level, which, you know, makes it incredibly difficult to get away, especially with the increased police activity in this area, you know, due to the mission and the bomb. So cars in this game are notorious for spinning out at the slightest collision, bursting into flames after a few little bumps, or just entirely flipping onto their roof when you least want them to. So it doesn't bode well for a high-speed chase across town to a pay and spray, or then worse, over to Vercetti Estates with the wanted level. It's just an incredibly frustrating experience. I feel like instead of this mission, Tommy should have just bailed and let this be the last dance for Lance fans. In keeping with the theme of cops, our next entry on the list is No Escape. Now this is the first asset mission for the Malibu Club, which sees Tommy trying to assemble the dream team for a bank heist. Although personally I find this a little questionable, as all the missions for the Malibu Club involve you somehow beating these people in their areas of expertise. Nevertheless, in the mission No Escape, Tommy is after his vault cracker, Cam. Now, Cam has been arrested, so obviously he's the man for the job, and he's been held in Washington Beach Police Station. And Tommy has to go impersonate a police officer again, and then break Cam out. So this mission has both shooting indoors, which is awful, and then a police chase in fragile cars, which again is awful. So the actual getting into the police station is fine, like you just detour to the left and then you get your police uniform on. It's only after you break Cam out that you get the wanted level and then everyone starts shooting at you. And by this point in the game, in the original and definitive, I had already got the super sprint, which in the original was like lightning fast. Like when Tommy ran, he was faster than cars. So if you can imagine like a car going at full speed in a tiny little office in a police station, that is what Tommy was like. And it was just so difficult to get out of there because you had to move fast, otherwise you would just get shot and killed. But you can't move too fast, otherwise Tommy would just like career into a wall and you would never get out of the building. So this took me so many attempts to eventually pass. And I would probably go as far to say that the Malibu Club missions are some of the hardest in the game. And, you know, there is no need for it because you literally get like 10 grand or something stupid like that. Which, you know, if you've done the Cold and Crazy exploit, money means nothing at this point. Finally, at number 5, we have Autoside. This is one of the assassination missions in Vice City, and this one is in fact incredibly similar to one of Lester's stock manipulation missions in GTA 5. So in Vice City, our friend on the phone gives Tommy a list of people around the city that need to be taken care of, as well as access to a small cache of weapons next to a conveniently parked motorbike. So there's someone working on top of a billboard. Then again, GTA 5. Like that's all I could think of when I was doing this mission was like, Franklin took him out. And yeah, there's a guy on top of a billboard. There is someone in a security van. There's some like party boat out in the marina. There is 2 guys just hanging around outside a jewelry store, being, you know, living their best lives. And then there's someone just cruising around town on a motorbike. So in most of these situations, Tommy has to take them out unnoticed. Otherwise, they panic and flee. Well, I say flee, but the AI isn't the best, so really they just like drive around in circles around like the same block. So you can still take them out, but this is a timed mission, so the last thing you want is your target to flee, just because it does make it a lot more irritating. So this took me quite a few attempts to get this mission done, but in the end I figured you could just cheese it with a minigun. Much like most missions, I guess. But yeah, like the minigun made this mission ridiculously easy. So like one pop of the minigun at the car, boom, it explodes. Yacht, boom, it explodes. Motorbike, boom, it explodes. You know, the minigun is just so underrated, and you know, in my next Vice City playthrough, it's just going to be a minigun run. Like, Tommy is going to be unstoppable. But even with my newfound cheese, I still feel like this deserves a place on the list, purely because before I found my minigun cheese, this was nothing but stress. So there we have it. These are my picks for the 5 worst missions in GTA Vice City. Do you agree with my choices? Let me know yours down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you have enjoyed this video, and I will see you all in the very next one. Bye!